Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day 48 of 100 Days to Life-Changing Confidence. This morning's scriptures will be in John chapter 6, verses 1 through 15, and Matthew 25, verses 14 through 30. So if y'all are ready, let's get started. And the word says, "The kingdom of heaven is like a man going on a trip. He calls his servants and entrusted some money to them. He gave one man $10,000 and another $4,000 and another $2,000. Each was given money based on his ability. Then the man went on his trip. The one who received $10,000 invested the money at once and doubled his money. The one who received $4,000 did the same and also doubled his money. But the one who received $2,000 went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. The one who received $10,000 brought the additional $10,000. He said, 'Sir, you gave me $10,000. I've doubled the amount.' His master replied, 'Good job. You're a good and faithful servant. You proved that you could be trusted with a small amount. I will put you in charge of a large amount. Come and share your master's happiness.' The one who received $4,000 came and said, 'Sir, you gave me $4,000. I've doubled the amount.' His master replied, 'Good job. You're a good and faithful servant. You proved that you could be trusted with a small amount. I will put you in charge of a large amount. Come and share your master's happiness.' Then the one who received $2,000 came and said, 'Sir, I know that you are a hard person to please. You harvest where you haven't planted and gather where you haven't scattered any seeds. I was afraid, so I hid your $2,000 in the ground. Here's your money.' The master responded, 'You evil and lazy servant. If you knew that I harvest where I haven't planted and gathered where I haven't scattered, then you should have invested my money with the bankers. When I returned, I would have received my money back with interest. Take the $2,000 away from him. Give it to the one who has the $10,000. To all who have, more will be given, and they will have more than enough. But everything will be taken away from those who don't have much. Throw this useless servant out into the darkness. People will cry and be in extreme pain there.'" Our last scripture of the day comes to us from John chapter 6, verses 1 through 15. And the word says, Jesus later crossed the other side of the Sea of Galilee, or the Sea of Tiberias. A large crowd followed him because they saw the miracles he had performed for the sick. Jesus went up a mountain and sat with his disciples. The time for the Jewish Passover festival was near. Jesus saw a large crowd coming to him. He said to Philip, "Where can we buy bread for these people to eat?" Jesus asked this question to test him. He already knew what he was going to do. Philip answered, "We would need about a year's wages to buy enough bread for each of them to have a piece." One of the disciples, Andrew, who was Simon Peter's brother, told him, "A boy who has 5 loaves of barley bread and 2 small fish is here, but they won't go very far. They won't go very far for so many people." Jesus said, "Have the people sit down." The people had plenty of grass to sit on. There were about 5,000 men in the crowd. Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed them to the people who were sitting there. He did the same thing with the fish. All the people ate as much as they wanted. When the people were full, Jesus told his disciples, "Gather the leftover pieces so that nothing will be wasted." The disciples gathered the leftover pieces of bread and filled the 12 baskets. When the people saw the miracle Jesus had performed, they said, "This man is certainly the prophet who has come into the world." Jesus realized that the people intended to take him by force and make him king, so he returned to the mountain by himself. Our scripture notes today are as follows. Sometimes, in order to see Christ, we must see miracles. That comes from John 6, verses 14 through 15. And the last one says, God can tell who are good and faithful servants and who squandered their blessings. Don't take blessings for granted. That comes from Matthew 25:21. So the other day when I was watching The Chosen for the millionth time, it came upon the episode where Jesus does feed the 5,000 in the crowd. And, you read the stories and hear the stories from church and Sunday school. But until you actually see it being portrayed as it really happened, it's kind of almost like I know that the things happen because the Bible is full of truth and it does not lie. But it's completely different when you see the miracles that Jesus performs. And He's right. If you take it for granted, there's not going to be much left. So, the moral of today is be content with your blessings. That is all, and I will see y'all for tomorrow's scripture readings. Have a blessed day, everybody.